All right, so move on to the final segment. I'll be sharing my thoughts on inside the NBA possibly coming to an end. So, we have seen over the last week that the news, the rumors, and the speculation that is hovering over one of the most popular NBA shows in NBA history of Inside the NBA, what the future holds for Inside the NBA. So, TNT Inside the NBA could reportedly be canceled after the 2024-25 NBA season. The NBA is targeting media deals with the likes of Disney, Amazon, and NBC. This will mean next season, if this is true and they strike a deal with one of those three platforms that I just mentioned, that next season could be the last dance of TNT Inside the NBA, a show that has been around since 1989. That is going to be a huge, significant change in the NBA if this show does come to an end. But if the show does come to an end next year, I really believe it'll be a huge letdown. It'll be a sad day in sports history because the NBA will regret losing one of the greatest shows in NBA history. To me, the greatest NBA coverage show in NBA history, that being Inside the NBA on TNT. Ernie Johnson, Kenny Smith, Charles Barkley, Shaq, four icons for what they've done for the sport of basketball, especially together on Inside the NBA. They have been incredible together. I like to think of them as the Fantastic Four. And you look at Kenny, Charles, Shaq, 3 out of 4 of those guys have been a part of the NBA at some particular point in their lives. And Ernie Johnson has always been a big part in the NBA, being one of the greatest sports hosts of all time. And the show has been entertaining as hell of Inside the NBA. We can never forget the countless segments, hilarious segments. We can never forget the countless arguments between Shaq and Charles Barkley over the years. And their insight and their knowledge for the game of basketball has truly helped me learn more about the game of basketball, having more insight of the game of basketball, knowing more knowledge for the game of basketball. Me being motivated to be a podcaster today based off of what these guys have done over countless years together. And it all could be taken away because the NBA wants it to end at a snap of a finger. It's just sad of how the media, how the NBA, I understand how the world is. All sports is a business. And the NBA is a business also. But when you take an accountability of a gold mine, of a gem, of something that has been so meaningful for the sport of basketball, their insight has been so great over the years. And all because the NBA wants to pivot it to a new platform of Disney, Amazon, or NBC, we could potentially be losing one of the greatest shows of all time, sports shows of all time. And the reasons why I do believe that this could be it next season, and next season will be the last dance version of Inside the NBA on TNT, is because neither one of them will continue without the others. What I mean by that is, if NBC, Disney, or Amazon strikes a deal to try to get Inside the NBA on that platform, nobody's going to do it without the other. That's saying, hey, I'll take Shaq and Charles Barkley. We cut off Kenny Smith and Ernie Johnson. We give you 2 new co-hosts for the show. Or they take Charles Barkley, Kenny, and Shaq and leave Ernie Johnson behind. They're not going to do that. They're all going to stick together until this show officially ends. They just can't do it without the others at this particular point. That's how deep the brotherhood has been built for this NBA platform over the years. And Ernie Johnson has flat out said his loyalty is everything. And he's already said that he would never work for a different company, sports company other than TNT. Ernie Johnson has been with the company for the last 34 years. And Ernie Johnson is not going anywhere. And if it ends there, I feel like Ernie Johnson will retire. That being said, that's why I feel like if the NBA does strike a deal on one of those platforms, it's going to take the NBA away from TNT, and you will no longer see Inside the NBA. And I think if the show ends, it would be cool to see all four of those respective guys start their own podcast. You wouldn't have TV obligations every week. You can be on a weekly podcast, give your insight of maybe things are happening around the world. Continue to spread your love for the game of basketball. I would love to see a podcast between the four respective guys. But man, when this thing ends, it's going to be a sad day in the sports world. Man, it's just tough thinking about that. But those are my thoughts on Inside the NBA possibly happening, the ending possibly happening, and things coming to an end. But that is all the time I have for you guys today. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for listening. This is your host, Thomas Tyree, signing off. And I'll see you guys on next week's episode.